Looking good? Hey, what's up? It's Jason. It's Jason here with Get Into It with Jason Hook, which is me. We're down here in the beautiful South Shore. Beautiful, clean air, not that North Shore trash air. You can't see her, but I have an assistant right now. My wife is here, so she's going to flip the record so I don't have to get up. But again, my name is Jason. This is Get Into It. I want to thank Pat from Ground Zero Salem, who, if you go over his channel, which you should, and subscribe and comment and get into it. He came down here over the weekend with his family, and we went record shopping. Shot a video right over there where my wife's sitting. Where my wife's sitting now. And he's been kind of pushing me to do this since then, and I mean, I wanted to be pushed. I know a lot of you guys dig the metal, like YouTube's a ton of metal, but there's not a lot of punk and hardcore, or like the later punk and hardcore, the stuff that I'm into. So I'm going to show some punk and hardcore stuff, some new to me stuff, and then I'm going to do a little thing at the end about show a couple releases from two different bands that I dig, that I think, you know, you guys should get into. Sorry about the light. I got to get better with this. My golden locks are glowing, so just don't be taken aback by my golden locks, but my gray golden locks. But so I don't know if you guys can hear this that well, but we'll, you know, I'll check later, try to fix it in the future. But what we're listening to right now is Crown Court. Capital Offense. These guys are from the UK, London, I believe. It's really awesome hardcore, Oi influence hardcore, I would say. A little photo there, the boys hanging from Big Ben. Big Ben, right? I don't know. Never been. A couple shots on the inside of them hanging out. So these guys are part of what is called the new wave of British hardcore. Little bite on the British heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal movement. Bands like Obstruct, The Flex, Violent Reaction, and Arms Race are coming out like in the last couple of years. Really good stuff. I think a lot of these bands share members, so that's cool. But just check it out. Crown Court, Capital Offense. This came out, I believe, towards the end of last year. So distros have it. I think it's relatively easy to get, so I highly, highly recommend it. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is this Raw Power LP. Raw Power, an Italian hardcore band that was around in the early 80s up until the mid-2000s. I think they took a little bit of a hiatus here and there. They toured extensively in the mid-80s in the U.S., put out multiple LPs and 7 inches, which I have, which I might show. Maybe I'll do an international hardcore one and show some of that stuff out. But what we got on here is the God's Chorus unreleased demo from '82 and the You Are the Victim record. With the demo, Giuseppe played guitar and vocals, and with You Are the Victim, Mauro took over vocals. Giuseppe stayed in guitar, but Mauro took over the full vocal duties. Great band, just it's like American hardcore through European eyes, I would say at the time. Just fast. It's some like hooks and leads, not necessarily on this record, but later they got a little bit more experimental with the guitar sound. But the thing that rules about this is this, check these guys out. You know, you got the dude with the awesome tucked in Exploited t-shirt right here. You got striped pants with a GBH shirt. Iron Cross with a tucked in white shirt holding his drumsticks, in case you didn't know he's a drummer. Just great stuff. Actually, sadly, I believe it was Giuseppe, passed away of a heart attack a few years ago unexpectedly. So I believe they're no more. I know they toured. I want to say they toured in the 2000s, but I never got to see him. I don't know if there was a Boston date. There was a CD that came out that was kind of like the coming back CD, which was really good. I mean, these guys just like I said, it's kind of like American hardcore at the time with like a little bit of, you know, through European, a little bit different. But this is a great record. Heavy cardstock. It's a gatefold. On the inside, you got all the lyrics. You got some photos and flyers. You see how reflection's a little bad there, but you got a little bit of explanation about what you're listening to here. It's on FOD Records. Got you right there. You know, Fuck Off and Die, Broken Bones. You know, it's being distributed by Scary Store, which I've never heard of. So, but I mean, if they got Raw Power stuff, they're good. Also, Soda. I would tell you about the mouthfeel, but I don't have the skill that the metal theologian has. But I don't want to show it too much because I don't want to get hit with an ad. But You know, check the cool, really realistic blood here. But, yeah, cool record, like a single LP, black vinyl. Comes in a black sleeve, pretty basic. Got a Raw Power logo there. A little close-up of the stab on the back. I got this from Patak Records. I hope I'm saying it right. I always mispronounce stuff. It's a Massachusetts way, the accent. We just kind of make up our own. My wife's shaking her head. It is. We just say weird shit. If you live here, you probably know what I mean. But they're out of the Cape. Dan runs it. Great dude. They have a lot of weird. They get a lot of weird stuff like this in. A lot of like imports and bootlegs. I don't want to say bootlegs, but a lot of just weird stuff. You should check him out. Google it. He's real fast with shipping. An awesome dude. He's in that band Fistula. So yeah, Raw Power, man. Great name too. Great name. Next we have the Fuck You Pay Me Dumbed Down LP, which came out, I believe, in the winter, towards the end of winter. They're from Cleveland. You got right there. These are guys that have been in bands for a long time. The singer Tony Erba, the Union guy, 100% backed, brother. Has been in a million bands. Face Value, H100s, Nine Chalks Terror, Gordon Soley Motherfucker, Cheap Tragedy. He was in a band called Amps to 11, which I've never heard, but I want to. I've heard of them. And countless other bands. Loves old wrestling. Just great dude. On the cover here, it's awesome. You got your Elvis and your Jesus, a la Poison Idea. Got the They Live ripoff faces here. Got a Trump with a right here. It's on Tank Crimes, which is a really good, cool label you should check out. His buddy passed away a few years ago, so there's a little tribute here with a drawing of him, which is pretty cool. Comes with a lyric sheet. I mean, just angry, fast, hardcore, like kind of no frills, but like no frills in a good way. They got a song, Steubenville City Limits. If you guys remember, a few years ago, in a small town in Ohio, there was like some football players sexually assaulted a girl and like posted photos of it on the internet, and like they weren't going to get in trouble, and like the internet, I believe Anonymous got involved, and like I never found out what happened. I'm pretty sure they ended up doing some time, but it was a really big case. This song was about it, and this song's an absolute brain melter. 50 White Dudes with Machetes, Crisis Actors, Douche Chills, Dark Side of the Spoon, a classic as a New England guy, You Hate Me, I Hate You, G.G. Allen cover. So it's just great stuff. Angry hardcore, Cleveland representing again. They've played Boston a couple times. I've checked them out each time they've come. Last time they played Tony, I gave Tony one of my Union shirts. He wore it, so it was interesting, like showing people the photos because they're playing in a basement and explaining, like I saw a band and they want to know why I didn't see them at like a stadium. But it's cool. You know, got the local out there. The labels are pretty cool. Just and then a little shot of kind of like the cover. Just standard black vinyl. I don't go too crazy. Actually, on this one, I believe the black vinyl is the rarer one. But usually with pre-orders, I'll order the black. Like, you know, I'm not a big... With the newer records, I really don't care about color. Unless I'm at a show and they got like a special color, I'll buy the color. But I don't really go nuts about that kind of stuff. But again, Fuck You Pay Me, Dumbed Down. Check it out. Again, another probably easy, readily available record. So next, this is a new to me. It's an old record. In the early 2000s, my buddy got one of these, and I was pissed because I've been looking for it ever since. But it's the Welcome to Venice comp, which I want to say was 85. I could be wrong. It's on Suicidal Records. It's got Suicidal Tendencies, Beowulf, Los Psychos, No Mercy, and Excel on it. This is a real, like when the crossover shit started coming down, this is just a shredder of a record of that. Just great, great stuff. I like the graffiti artwork, the photo collage of all the dudes with their bandanas and flip caps on. You know, you see that with the glare. I know a lot of these. I know, well, Suicidal. I know No Mercy probably put out another LP. I know Beowulf probably put something else out. I'm not too sure about Los Psychos and Excel. I probably should have researched that before I shot a video, but I'm an idiot. Again, black vinyl, just the Welcome to Venice logos with the sides. I don't know if this had an insert. This one I got doesn't have an insert. I'm assuming it probably did, but it didn't. I'll look that up again. If you know, let me know. But not necessarily a super rare record, but I've just never, like I saw one once and my buddy beat me to it, and then I saw this a few months ago and I grabbed it up. So again, yeah, the Welcome to Venice comp, yeah, 85, very rare, crazy rare, according to Tim. So let me do my plug. Tim from Mars Records, located in historic downtown Plymouth. Mars Records. There you go, Tim. I told you I'd do a plug. But yeah, anything you see with this, like I have records from years and years ago, and I just know it's a Tim record just because of his handwriting on the post-it note. But again, Welcome to Venice, great stuff. Next, what I'm going to do is let me find the 7-inch. This, just so you guys know, this is the 4th time I've shot this video. So no one might ever see this, because if it doesn't work this time, I'm not going to do it tonight. Getting a little angry. But next we have Burden. And I'll show you, this is the demo tape. That's actually, they put the demo on the record. This came with a zine called Neutral Accents, which is out of the Chicago area. Walpala. Is that how I say it, Sean? He'll find this and comment on it. But Neutral Accents, great zine. But here's the insert. It's Andy Fletcher, lives down the Cape. He does a lot of art. He drew this. You probably recognize like this kind of art. He's done a lot of t-shirts and flyers and record covers. And this is his solo project. It's a pro tape with a screen print. He gets the NXA logo on there. So this is really cool. So I just wanted to show that. But that's what's on here. Time Trieth Truth. Real tongue twister. But Burden. This came out. It's numbered to 75. I got 68. These are so readily available from the label, which is called Under Watchful Eyes. I think they have Big Cartel or something like that. And they also have another version of this that's test press for sale. But I just grabbed this one. It says right here, demo originally released by Neutral Accents. So, but you get a little package in here that's cool. First of all, instead of a dust sleeve, you got this little like boots and braces Illuminati thing here. And Under Watchful Eyes. And then on the back, I love these cutouts. I really wish they made the cover like this. All those old good UK records have these cutouts. And just a standard black vinyl, the logo, and then the band name and the label logo on it. And then again, this is my 4th time doing this, so you get this cool little Andy baseball card looking mean with the guitar there. I've given him a hard time before. I keep on looking over here. I'm sorry. I gave him a hard time before. I'm going to carry this around with me. Negative Approach is playing Boston on Saturday. I'm hoping he's going to go. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to have him personalize it to me, you know, make my record extra special. And then with the insert, it's just from the tape. Just a copy of the tape. And then it's the lyrics, which didn't come with the demo, which is cool. So the band, it's Burden, Time Trieth Truth, Under Watchful Eyes. They still had copies of this. I mean, it's hand numbered to 75. It's a little pricey, but it's cool. When they played the opening of what is now famously known as Battle Ruins Weekend here, when Battle Ruins played their first and supposedly only U.S. show. On a Friday night, the night before that one, there was a show at the same place with Foreseen, Hammer and the Nails, Burden, and this band called Legion 76. I missed Legion 76 because I was eating or drinking beer or doing both, but I missed them. But they were awesome. They didn't have a lot of copies of this. They didn't bring a lot. They flew real fast. I kind of was up Andy's ass for one because I'm just a nerd. I really wanted it because I thought they were really good. But a week later, he posted a link. They were available. I told me to grab it. So this is the tape and the record, Burden. So I'm going to go with this one next from the same weekend. It's the Fit for Abuse represses. Comes with this OB strip or OBI strip, however you want. I call them OB strips. I could be wrong. Warthog Speak and Painkiller put it out, so it's got their logos on it. It's got the date, which is really cool. What it is, 3475. And it comes in this cool little thing here that's got flyers from all the shows they played. And this one right here with Roger Clemens, I'll tell a story afterwards because I was at that show and it was awesome. So what you get in here is you get the first 7-inch, not the first 7-inch, but the first 7-inch in the thing. Too Little Too Late, just a standard cover. Got the lyric, on the back, folds up. Live shot, lyrics, thank you list and whatnot. Standard black vinyl as usual. And then on the other side you got a hole in Matt Kelly's head. In case you didn't know, Matt Kelly, who sings on this, is the drummer for the Dropkick Murphys. So this band doesn't play out a lot, but when they do, it's a big deal. For me, at least. I know a bunch of my friends love them, too. This one has 2 covers on it. Nuclear Threat by The Abused and You're a Rebel by Iron Cross. So that's that one. And then the other one is the Psycho Ray demo, which they had a different singer for a short period of time named Psycho Ray. And that's him right there on the cover. This story's about him. I never saw them with him. I was kind of a little bit too young when he was doing this. It was just before I was going to a lot of shows, so got a live shot there. It looks like all these photos might be from the same show. Got another live shot right there, and you got lyrics, and then when it was recorded, him flex into the crowd, and the same thing. So these 7-inches themselves are still readily available from Painkiller. Just this little package isn't, but I think it was the thing they threw together for that show. You know, 5 fucking assholes with a, you know, that's Matt and then Ray. And the thing I've loved about this band is they've put out a couple releases and they're just no frills. It's like black vinyl, simple artwork. This is the most extravagant thing I think I've ever seen from this band. They have a 7-inch that came out a while ago, which is kind of hard to find, which I have. They put out a split with R&R on Bridge 9, which was cool. And then they have a Armageddon Shop just released a LP that has the first 7-inch, and I believe some demo songs. Might have live tracks on it. I own it, but I'm spacing at the moment of what's on there. But that's super readily available. You can order that from them, or just, you know, if you happen to live in Massachusetts or Providence, you can probably just hit up the store. They have them in the shop. But so back to the story. This show right here with Roger Clemens on it was, and there's a ticket stub here, because I was at the Middle East upstairs, and I actually have a ticket stub too. I bought it at Filene's. They had a Ticketmaster in there. But it was Wednesday, February 28th, 2001 at 9 o'clock. I was in high school. That's my senior year. And me and my friend went to the show, and it was Cops and Robbers, which is Tommy and Micah from Pickard & Thugs, a hardcore band they did, which is great. Close Call, another great local band. Fit for Abuse, which I'm just explaining to you about, and Shark Attack. And this was when Shark Attack was just starting to blow up. I think the Bridge 9 press of their record might have just come out. And, you know, I was psyched to see all the bands. This was like a dream show for me at the time, because, you know, these were all bands I was heavily listening to at the time. And it might have been the first time I saw Fit for Abuse. I'm not sure. But if you've ever been to the Middle East upstairs, it's real small. And when Shark Attack came out, they're just like, we're Shark Attack. And then dudes in varsity jackets appeared out of nowhere and were just stage diving, and they opened the place up. People were going nuts. It was awesome. And I remember I was freaking out because I had like a test the next day. And I was in Boston, in town as we call it, for people who live on the South Shore. And I was like, I gotta get home, like, you know. But I didn't want, you know, I wasn't gonna miss this shit. And then also, it's cool that I have a pin that has this on it. It says Boston is back on the map with Roger Clemens. My wife / assistant just flipped the record. Thank you, Jennifer. And there's another flyer on the back for another show here, which was Fit for Abuse, Say Goodbye, Cut the Shit, The Prowl, and For the Worst, and Stress Cracks at Hardcore Stadium. Stress Cracks were awesome. He's a friend of a friend. I still have the CD demo. Maybe I'll pull that out sometime. But that was another great show too. Most of the other shows here, I think, were just before this one from 2000. I might have been at this one. But they're just from before I was old enough to go to shows all the time. Like, I missed this Drop Dead Pain Driver one. That sucks. It's Out Cold one with Drop Dead. That might have been the same one. I just missed some of these shows. The Voorhees show I missed. Like, I'm just really bummed. But I saw Hatchet Face. You know, that was... But, just great. Good. And then these guys, too, when they first came out, hardcore was leaning heavily towards, like, that metallic, moshy sound. And this is just straightforward, no thrills, hardcore. Like, you know, a la Out Cold and stuff. Just great stuff. So check it out. Order the records. They're still available. They're really good. So I'll put that there. The next one I got here, another tape, is this band here from Milwaukee, 1982 or 1983, called the Clitboys. Which, they were like an early American hardcore band from the middle of nowhere, you know, Milwaukee. I shouldn't talk. I live in the burbs, but this tape here is on this band called Ultra Waste, which I'm just going to assume is a tape label that was, you know, pressing kind of hard to find stuff on the tape. This tape has a 7-inch on it, and it has a demo on it. And it said right here, it's used with permission, which is, so it's cool. So it's not a boot. So it's an official release, which would be this band's second official release, because all they did was the 7-inch, and it was the third, the 7-inch in the demo. So it's got the 7-inch in the demo on it. It's got some flyers, a live photo. So just, you know, good stuff. I hate hammering the word obscure, but it's obscure. The Black Flags and the Minor Threats and the Bad Brains and the Circle Jerks were all around at the same time. But, this isn't that same ilk if you're into that kind of stuff, which I am, and I hope you are too. But it's the same ilk, same kind of thread type stuff. But a couple years ago for Record Store Day, Beer City, again, this stuff's all pulled out because this is the 4th time I've done this. So Beer City re-released the 7-inch. We Don't Play the Game. And they actually paid... it's got the barcode, which is originally in the Beer City logo. And with Beer City, they're kind of hit or miss for me, to be honest with you. A couple of years, probably like 10 years ago, I'm going to say a couple, they released these 2 LPs from like this band called Los Ovalitos, which I'm probably hammering the pronunciation, and this band called Free Beer, which were 2 skate rock bands from California that were known to play like parties and like, a half pipe, like skate, like they play on top of a half pipe and stuff. So those are really cool if you can get those and check them out. They've done some other stuff too. I think the Huns were on Beer City, if I believe. But yeah, it's a skateboard company out of Milwaukee, which is crazy because the shit they put out is, you never think Milwaukee. But so these guys, this is what came off of Record Store Day. I can do a whole video on Record Store Day. I knew this came out. I really wanted it. I couldn't find it. I found it recently. I wasn't gonna, break the bank on it. It's a repress, but it comes on orange vinyl. Again, not a big, if it's black, I don't care what color it's on, I just want it. And it's got the songs there, which is probably upside down, yeah, sorry. It's got the songs there, it's got the back, and of course it says Feedback Records, which I'm assuming is a label that probably put the 7-inch out originally. So it's like an authorized one, it's not like they stole it. But it also comes with this, which is written by the singer, which is a little rundown of the band. And one thing I want to say about this band that I always found really interesting was, they have a song called Gay's Okay, which is like a pro-gay rights song, which I think is really cool. I mean, a lot of those bands weren't tackling that kind of stuff back then. And I'm just going to assume, because, 82 I was born, that there's probably gay people involved in this scene as outcasts. So it wasn't cool for them to be outcast from society and then be outcast from like something that's supposed to be there for them. And like I said, again, I just noticed this. They really did a shit job on this on purpose with the photocopy. I think just to pay, they had to use an effect. I really don't think a photocopy machines exist that are this shitty. You can see where there was like folds. It's around the front too. If you don't know if you can tell, you can see where it had to be, unless they busted out an old '80s photocopy machine. But again, Gay's Okay. There's a rhyme in here, which I think they just had to rhyme it with. But sexual preference is personal business. I don't care what Anita says. The Bible's just full of shit. She can ram it up her slit. Gay's okay, they're people too. Gay's okay, it's fine with me. Gay's okay, they're people too. Gay's okay, just leave them be. Save our children, they're a threat, corrupting our morality. Condemning people for what they need, fuck you and your moral dream. Gay's okay. I mean, that's some pretty intense shit. No other band was really, doing that. Maybe I'm sure the Big Boys, they might have. So, getting a little hoarse here. But, in the written thing by the singer, he writes, loudly declaring Gay okay in 1982, coming from 3 straight guys, was fairly radical. Hating the KKK was not, but hey, our intentions were good. So this is a little cool thing too. I like reading this because it's just telling a story about the band. And, again, I hate to hammer the word. I don't want to use the word obscure, but they're not. You really don't. They're right up there with all those big bands just from the sound. It's just fast hardcore, American hardcore punk, which is punk and hardcore were the same thing then. But just real good stuff. Check it out. I think the video is on YouTube. But the Clitboys, We Don't Play the Game. Put that back. So next, what I wanted to get into was I was going to show you 2 releases from the same band. It's a UK82 band, which I feel flew under the radar of UK82. Everyone knows Blitz and Krongen and the Violators and just all those bands, The Ejected and all that. But it's a band called Dead Man's Shadow. They got the UK82 look down pat, the sad kid sitting on rubble, the Peace and Anarchy sign, the giant bomb scare, great song, the great song title. The shadow of a man with an anarchy arm patch. Flip to the back. It's got the cool cut, like I said earlier. I love these cutouts. Classic trench coat charge. The names of the band, John, Fish, and Dagnut. But just kind of like driving UK82. No Shame and Subversion. if you watched my video that I did that I was a guest on with Pat, I pulled this out and just kind of mentioned it real quick. I just want to get a little bit more into it because I mean I know like the Super UK82 fans will know who they are, but I feel like they kind of slipped a little bit under the radar. They put out 3 EPs, a couple splits, and 2 LPs. Here's another one of the EPs here. This came out in 83. That 7-inch was 82. The first one was 82, Bomb Scare. Now, maybe I'll play that for you later if I have time. If this record ends, I'll have my wonderful assistant throw it on. But, just basic labels. I used to think this was a split for some weird reason because I'm an idiot, but it's not. It's Dead Man's Shadow. This one might be a call. I gotta do a little bit more research. No, it's written by them. But, another cool record. They put on an LP, the first LP. I wrote it down because I knew I was going to forget it. Forget what the central was. It's called the 4 Ps: Pride, Pacifism, Perseverance, and Passion. And To Muhammad a Mountain was the second LP. They got really into peace punk a little bit, in my opinion, from what I've heard. It's almost like they heard Crass for the first time, but there's no way they heard it for the first time. There's kind of some abstract songs on there. There's a reggae jam on one of them. The 4 Ps is a good record, but this stuff, I don't know, like people kind of, I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like they don't get their due for how good they actually were. Maybe like the later records kind of turn people off. They're only a band for about 3 years, and they put out a lot of stuff. There's also a 45 named Neighbors, which I don't own, which I'm going to try to find. So, again, that's Dead Man's Shadow. I'll put this over here so it can be played if we got time, but again, look at guys, I just love these. They just don't do these anymore, man. I don't know why. So, we'll put this right over here. Let me step out of frame here. There you go. If we have time. The A side. Thanks. My personal Vanna White. A side, please. It's 45. It's 45 RPM. Anyways, enough of flirting with my wife on the video. Next, we're going to get into an American band that was around the same time called Battalion of Saints, which I'm sure a lot of you know, you might not know, but one of my personal favorites. Also, like I said, I hammer that phrase to death. I showed it real quick in one of the videos with Pat, so I'm just going to get a little bit deeper into it because I own a bunch of stuff by them. So first, I'm going to show off they put a 12-inch EP out called Fighting Boys. It's a 4-song EP on a 12-inch. And here's the cover right here. Some really awesome Mad Mark Rude cover art, which you guys probably remember. He did some Misfits stuff. But it's got a promo cut, which is kind of a bummer. I ordered this from France. It was one of my first Discogs purchases, which I mentioned. It took a real long time to get here. I was starting to get worried that it wasn't going to show up. And here's the back. It's him hanging out in a graveyard because punk's about being sad and hanging out in graveyards. And the really cool thing about these guys at the time, especially for the American sound, is they were rocking like the studded jackets, and like this dude had a charge at one point. There's a photo I'll show you later on another record. They were kind of biting the UK fashion style, which some bands want. I mean, people used to have weird haircuts and safety pins, but they were going hard with like this full armor studded vests and jackets and stuff. That's a singer right there, George Anthony. But it's on Neutron, 1982. Thanks for the Fights, Iggy Pop and Michael Page. I don't know what that, I'm assuming that has some sort of meaning. You know, I also, again, awesome, just holding the flowers in the graveyard. You know, he's so bummed out. He's going to play some hardcore for you. But I'm going to Make You Scream, EB, Modern Day Heroes, and Fighting Boys. Fighting Boys is a song which I've said before that if you don't like, I might not like you. It's a fucking tune. And as a regular size insert, again, I've mentioned in the video with Pat, it's cool when you find these because it finds a lot of the 80s, especially Youth Crew hardcore stuff. They have pinholes, or they're chewed up, or they're yellow. This is the full insert, which is awesome. I'll show you how awesome this is in a way. You know, it's every bit of the definition of a 12-inch EP. Because I don't know if you can see, but the runoff is literally 10 inches. Like this, look at that. And again, there's their logo, which I have a shirt of, which everyone thinks is a Star Wars logo. And it'll say Battalion of Saints under it, and they're like, oh, is that like a Star Wars fan club? I'm like, and it's a band, man. You know, I'm fucking cool. I'm obscure, you know. But anyways, it's his Fighting Boys from 82. Again, great artwork. Mad Mark Rude did some great stuff. So we'll toss that back here real quick. And then they put out an LP, a full length, which was called Second Coming, which is this. And again with Mad Mark Root on the artwork. This is a ripper from beginning. In my mind's disease is probably one of the greatest opening first tracks of a record. Above and below instead of A and B. Again, you know, he's got the studded jacket going on, Manson shirt. Just great stuff. I mean, Ed Culver photos. I mean, what more can you say? Well, Neutron Records again, 1984. You know, fuck off pin. It's just great stuff. The insert here. Again, 4th time doing this, so I'm losing my pipes here. Painting of everyone's head on a spike in the band, which is cool. B-side, all the lyrics. Again, with the logo that everyone thinks is a Star Wars logo. And simple white labels, or like kind of off-white labels. Now, the interesting thing about this is that a couple years ago, this appeared, which is a repress of this. You can tell the borders are bigger. This is nerd stuff. This is going to get deep. The borders are bigger. The label on the record is lighter. And the inserts on heavy cardstock. And these came with a vinyl sticker too, which was cool. These are being sold as original presses. If you go on Discogs, it says a bootleg. Next to it says bootleg by the singer. I don't know what's going on with that. These still get. I see these on eBay and record stores as original presses. They are not. This is not an original press. It might be an old bootleg, but it's not an original press. They smell weird. Maybe they were, like he had labels and they were in an attic or a storage unit and he found them. Everything's exactly the same with regards to the back, the photos. Everything's exactly the same. But just to give you compare and contrast, if you ever want to dig this stuff, if I get into it, is you can see how the border is different. And also, this record came out in 1984. If I pull this sleeve out, the thing looks like it was printed yesterday. You know, there's no ring wear, there's no ding corners. This has a little bit of ring wear on the back here. It's just, I mean, I was immediately suspect when I got it, when I bought it, and but I wasn't gonna pass up a chance at a Second Coming for $20. I mean, I figured whatever. I don't usually buy doubles of records, but I mean, I really love this band. If I get one for 20, fuck it, I can give it away, or you know, give away one that's not good. But literally, everything is the same. It's just real. Yeah, actually, no. I take that back. Another sign on the back is the original press. Oh, this is going to come out. See the bottom with like the copyright and all that? This is the original one. On the bootleg, you can see it's a little bit smaller print. It's higher up. It's just little things like that. But just a general eye test. If you saw this on a wall, you would think it's an original press. So I just want to get that out there for you people. I mean, it's a kind of a known thing, but if you just get in this band, let you know. If you see this one with the big borders, it's a $20 record. That's what I paid for it to order it. So just a heads up. But it's still a great record. If you can get it, get it. Because, I don't know, you know, it just seems like this shit never